Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the second Facebook Live session that the EMEA region is hosting. My name's Grace Aqua. I work in the campus recruitment team here in London. And today's session is brought to you, offering you an opportunity to hear about what it's like to work as an analyst and an associate at Credit Suisse. We always get asked loads of questions about, what the typical day-to-day activities are that our interns, analysts and associates get involved with. So we wanted to be able to offer you the opportunity to hear from some of those people, and more importantly, ask the questions that you'd like to know what it's like to work within the areas that you could prospectively be working in. For the session today, we'd like to make the session as interactive as possible. So please do ask any questions via the comment section. If we don't get the opportunity to answer all questions today, we will come back to you at a later date. Also, a reminder that we have vacancies open, so please do apply if you haven't yet already. We'll be interviewing on a rolling basis, so we don't wait until the deadline date to review applications, so please do get them in as soon as possible. Without much further ado, I'd like to turn over to today's panel. So if you'd like to all introduce yourselves.
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is San. I work in the leverage finance origination team under IBCM. I joined as a summer intern 4 years ago now in the leverage finance and sponsors group, and been with the team for 3 years all this time. I'm an associate now. Happy to take any question that you have later.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining. My name is Vivio Berardi and I am an associate in the Energy, Transport and Infrastructure team within the Investment Banking and Capital Markets division at Credit Suisse here in London. I joined Credit Suisse in 2013 as a full-time analyst after having completed a Spring Week program in 2011 and a summer internship in 2012.
Hi, my name is Miguel. I originally come from Spain. I studied at London School of Economics, did management. I graduated in 2015 and joined the Credit Suisse family from 2013 throughout the Spring Week. Then I did my summer internship in sales and trading in 2014, and then I joined as a full-time grad in 2015 in the prime brokerage sales team. Then I moved on into the FX sales team very recently.
Hi, I'm Himani Modi. I'm from Imperial College London, having studied aeronautics for 4 years. I first came to CS in 2015 as a summer intern and got offered a job in 2016. I did my first year in product control IT, and recently, 4 months ago, I've moved into FX IT. So now we support the sales and trading services team from the IT side. Thank you.
Great, so thank you, panel. If you do have any questions for them, please do send them through as we're going along. And if you can remember to add their names at the start, it will just help us to just distribute the questions evenly. Okay, so let's get started. Sam, can you tell us about what attracted you to Credit Suisse and some of the highlights that you've experienced working within the leveraged finance team?
Mm-hmm. So I started interviewing when I was during my master's degree for the summer internship. I met quite a few banks and various people from all the campus recruiting events. I think the most important thing for me, how to choose an employer, is really I want to find a place where I can learn. I want to find a place where I get the support for me to grow and develop career-wise. And I think once you have enough experience, once you met enough people, you kind of can get a sense if these are the guys that you can sit next to and really see yourself working with them. And Credit Suisse really stood out in terms of that. I remember doing my interviews, my interviewer was very thorough. They weren't just focused on the technical questions, but they were more focused on whether I can think out of the box, whether I can get a hint and then come to a more difficult level. They kind of helped me completed my case study. But still, I also feel like I had a great time. I realized that these people who are really also nice and approachable as well are actually people that I wanted to work for.
Good.
And in terms of your second question was the highlights, right, with the leverage finance team. So I think I'll give two examples, one from the internship and one from a most recent experience. The one from the internship was actually one of my ratings analysis that I did. Just to give everyone a background, a ratings analysis is really a tiny, tiny piece of the puzzle of the whole process. But once I completed that, a very senior director came over and literally said to everyone in the team, "Oh, look how good this piece of analysis is." And later I was given more, responsibility on the project, but that little moment really gave me the encouragement and really brightened me for the whole internship. Because that just proved my point of my interview process as well, how people actually teach you how to do things, but really give you the recognition of doing a good job. And most recently, I think on the same note, my team has split up from the leverage finance sponsors team to financial sponsors who mostly only cover the financial sponsors clients, and leverage finance origination, who only covers the corporate clients and some smaller hedge fund names. So I'm based in the leverage finance and origination team now, which is quite a small team of 15 people. So we started doing executions in a very lean format. For example, the most recent transaction, I'm on the execution with my managing director and only one analyst. Normally, a deal team will consist of, an MD, a director, VP, associate, to analysts, everything, probably 4 to 5 people, and now we only have 3. And during one ratings agency call, the client threw me a question to lead the whole transaction section. And later on sent my MD an email saying, I initially doubted your decision on having such a lean team, but today I threw Tan a hot potato and she took it really well. You have a great team. I think it's quite a highlight on 2 things. One is I'm quite grateful that my managing director gave me the opportunity to stand up and to actually lead the transaction, and then to just grateful that we have such good clients that recognize our progress and just contributions as well. I think that really resonated throughout the 3 years where I worked at Credit Suisse, that the clients do come to us not just for, say, us provide the lowest fees, but, we're actually their trusted advisors and their friends.
Great. And if you could perhaps tell us a little bit about the culture within your team.
Yeah, I really think we have a great culture. Being the big 50 people team for the merged leverage finance and sponsors team, or the smaller team of 15, we always, every year we have a Christmas party and a ski trip. And every Friday we have team drinks. And last Friday we went for karaoke together. That was really fun. That's why my voice is still a little bit. I think we all like really good friends, and everyone really cares about each other on the workload. I think there are some concerns about investment banking work culture, and I do like to say that it's quite important to work with people who actually care about your well-beings. So people will try to actually accommodate your gym sessions, your private appointments, and just general workload as well.
And just making sure that you've got the right balance there, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you. So Miguel, you mentioned that you'd completed a summer internship at the bank prior to becoming an analyst. Can you tell us about some of the typical activities that you did on a day-to-day basis, and more importantly, what the atmosphere is like on the trading floor?
Of course. So the way it worked, I did a summer internship where it's 3-week rotation. So I did my first week within prime brokerage sales, my next set of 3 weeks in spot trading in equities, same as emerging markets and algorithmic trading, and then I moved into stock loan and swaps trading. The mix of projects is huge. The mix of people you meet is massive. In terms of my daily activities, I had to create morning reports. For some teams, you have the 3-week project where you're working every day with different people to try and achieve that one project that you get judged upon, but it's on the day-to-day basis, how fast-paced working and seeing what clients ask you. People, your teammates get you involved in everything they can to see how well you perform. And I guess in our job, it's a lot to do with working under pressure. So they like to put you out there and get you really involved to sort of see how you shine. Other things that we did was we had a trading game throughout the whole program, and that's a lot of fun because you're being seen against all your other teammates, and every day you can see how well they're doing versus how well you're doing. And that really helped me in terms of networking, because then I went to sit down with all these different traders, different people, to try and understand really how to really create my own trade ideas and how to go from there to create my own portfolio. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be judged on my performance and the background on what I put on. So it was awesome, and the amount of networking opportunities there is huge. I think I sat with over 15 different teams throughout the rotation. People don't mind if you sit with different teams. They just want to make sure you fit in the right team. So I saw a few of my colleagues and a few of my mates that did the internship with me that ended up in teams and having full-time offers from teams that they didn't even rotate within.
Okay.
So it's very, very interesting.
Good. Okay. And just to add to that, we've actually got a video that one of our equity research interns filmed over the summer. So let's hear from Hannah.
I chose Credit Suisse because I attended an event at my university and I met some of the recruitment team, and they were really encouraging and really enthusiastic about the bank. So I thought I'd apply. And then my experience of interviewing here was quite different to some of the other experiences that I had. Everybody was really welcoming, and we met a few managing directors and also the head of the equity research department on the first interview day. Right until I joined Credit Suisse, there was a lot of communication about how they were planning our internship, and I just felt like really involved right from the outset, and so there was no way that I wasn't going to accept the offer. I think the culture at Credit Suisse is vibrant, fast-paced and inclusive. So I think there is definitely an expectation that the quality of the work you produce is high, but at the same time everybody's really receptive to helping you out, and there's a lot of different avenues that you can go down to reach out to people. We had a lot of networking opportunities at the bank as well. There was drinks events throughout the internship where we could meet the other interns, and I spent time with my colleagues outside of work as well. We had a women's networking breakfast with female senior management. Following up from that, I was able to set up meetings with a few of those people, which was great. And I think because of the importance of networking within the industry, it's all about building relationships. It was something that the bank really emphasised, and I appreciated that a lot. The highlight of my internship has probably been the exposure to external people that I've met. So I've met people on the boards of FTSE 250 companies within the first few weeks of my internship, and important clients, and then loads of different people within the bank as well. It's developed my understanding of not only the world of finance, but the wider world of business for the companies that we cover. And that's been really interesting, and it's great to have met all these people, and not something I expected to do at all, especially in the first few weeks. So it's brilliant, yeah.
So hopefully there's some useful information about what it was like to work in the equity research department over the summer. I can see that we've got a fair few questions coming through now, so thank you very much for sending them in. Miguel, we've got a question from Frederick for you. Which skills would you advise that should be acquired to develop before starting an internship at Credit Suisse?
I don't think there's any specific skills. You have to have an interest for the markets or, well, depending on which area you want to work on. I think what really helped me was to sit down with people beforehand. That's what I mean by the culture with Credit Suisse, is that I actually met a lot of people either in my spring week or in my summer program, and sitting down with some of those people or actually asking HR to give me some contacts was super useful to prepare before joining in. And also to have familiar faces. I think it's essential. I think in terms of my summer program, the thing that I saw that sort of made the biggest difference was my networking skills. I think that's where I got to find the people that I liked, the people that I could work with, and it sort of gave me an idea of the type of job that I wanted to do, and actually ended up getting a full-time job from a team I didn't even know existed. I didn't even know what they did or anything to do with them. The fact that I met them, they told me what they did, and I enjoyed working with them, sort of gave me that last push to sort of say, actually, I want to work with you, and they felt the same way, and that's how it all started.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask a question now to Himani from Technology. So the banking industry is always striving to explore advances in technology to help improve efficiencies, the way we function, and the offerings for our clients. Can you tell us about any exciting projects that you've worked on that have helped move our technology offering forward?
Sure. So like I said before, I've only been in this team for 4 months now, but I already see the difference that I'm making. I can see the product that I've been working on being used by the team in sales and trading. So just to give a bit of a background, I work on an application which is currently, as we speak, being used by the sales and trading teams to book client deals, which means this application has to be one of the best out there in terms of efficiency, robustness, and has to be completely defect-free. To provide an application like this, we go through a rigorous cycle of gathering the requirements which are correct, getting them to the developers, and making sure that it's tested 100% so our product is foolproof. We've also got an IT team based globally. We've got a team in Pune, we've got a team in New York, Poland. So we are there for the sales and trading team 24/7. If there are any issues, we're always there to help them out. So in terms of providing our services, we're always there, and in terms of making sure that it's 100% foolproof, we're there to test it.
Okay. And can you tell us about any initiatives that you're involved with outside of your day-to-day role?
Sure. So in CS, we have a very close-knit community of technical analysts. We also have a TA committee who was appointed from within us. We try and develop a lot of sort of events. So we have Hacker Cup, which we did last year, which provides programming challenges. We also had a hackathon, which was highly appreciated by a lot of team members around and was supported by directors, and everyone appreciated it, and it was a very good event. We also have a meet-and-greet TA scheme where we meet TAs globally. We have TAs based in New York, Poland, so we sometimes have Skype calls with them. So just to expand our network, learn from them. We also have a buddy scheme which we organize. Apart from that, I'm also a TA lead in the philanthropy section. So we organize charity events on a monthly basis, try and raise money for the charity of the year. So there's something good that we do for the community as well. So a lot of opportunities to get involved in. It's just you have to go out there and grab it.
Definitely. Sounds like it. So there's lots of different things that you can get involved with.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. Vivio, having had the opportunity to work on occasion with our Credit Suisse Milan office, can you tell us about the value that spending time working in another location brought and how it's added to your experience so far?
Absolutely. So I think that, one of the effectively best opportunities that Credit Suisse offers at the junior level especially is the possibility to travel. And in my experience, that has had two main benefits. One is, the opportunity to network internally across levels and across effectively geographies, and the second one is to be exposed to a variety of new ideas, new clients, new deals. You can be working, on a merger or an acquisition, on a bond offering, on an IPO. So it's that, variety also across geographies that really is a differentiating factor, effectively. In my case, being Italian, I spend quite a bit of time in Italy, but I also spend time in Spain, Scandinavia, and I've been spending a bit of time in Amsterdam as well. So it is really, the opportunity that you get from the Credit Suisse platform, where effectively, what you can get out of the Credit Suisse platform is infinite, virtually. It's just up to you to go out there and grab it.
Okay, great, thank you. And you mentioned that you studied at Bocconi. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been able to get involved with on the campus side from that perspective?
Of course. So I did a spring week in 2011 here at Credit Suisse, and since then I was the Credit Suisse ambassador on campus. While I was still a student at Bocconi in Milan, and effectively my tasks were to support the London recruiting team to organize events and various networking sessions on campus during the recruiting season. Okay. I joined Credit Suisse full time here in London in 2013. I'm still involved in the various recruiting efforts that we do, and I also travel to the extent possible to Milan, where we organize our Italian events. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got lots of questions coming through, so if I can perhaps take a couple. A question from Princess. Hi Himani, what major IT skills are needed to be successful at Credit Suisse?
Sure. The main skill that is required is problem solving, definitely, and teamwork. IT is all about working together and making sure you understand what the issue is, being able to work under pressure. A lot of the times the environment is very fast-paced, which means there's an issue, you have to get it solved, you have to get over it and start. And sometimes you have to cooperate with team globally, so there might be someone based in New York. So you have to be on the call with them, be able to sort of understand it, work together. So two main skills I would say is problem solving and teamwork. They're crucial for any IT team.
Okay, thank you. Another question here, can someone from an engineering background succeed in banking? So M&A, to be absolutely precise. Perhaps one of the investment, yeah?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think that the main sort of the important thing to have when, for example, joining a summer internship program here at Credit Suisse is to really, have an open mind and, try to learn as much as possible. And the learning aspect of it is, is not something that you do on your own, is not something that is required before you join, but it's really something that, you get to experience and ultimately, to learn through the interaction with the respective team. Personally, I spend a lot of time doing energy, and when I joined, as a summer intern, I didn't know much about what the various, for example, metrics to value an energy company were, but it was. I joined with a very open mind to learn as much as possible about the sector, about the job, and ultimately, to learn about, to meet new people. These other people taught me a lot, and it all felt very natural in a way. So yes, you can definitely, your background doesn't really matter as long as you join with an open mind and willing to learn.
So lots of training provided to be able to sort of set you up for success.
Absolutely.
Okay. A question from Faustus to Miguel. Based on your experience, what makes a good analyst a great analyst?
Based from my experience. So from the last interns that we had on our desk, I think the key differentiator was how involved you want to get into. You see people that, they do want to learn and they get involved, but it's sort of pushing that extra mile. You see it in the performance of the work. You see it how well they know the people. making an effort to get to know everyone on the team, making an effort to try and help people on their projects. Personalities differ a lot. There's people, very open people like myself, where I'll come to an intern and ask them to do this or that, and I'll walk them through it. And there's other people that if you walk up to them, they'll come and help you. But it's having that proactivity and having that approach of, look, I'm here to learn. I'm here to show you that I'm good enough to work with you. And what you want to see is people that really want to be involved in the team, because at the end of the day, you spend most of your days with these people. The guys I work with, some of them are my best mates, and I still meet with them on weekends, and we just come back from a golf trip together. And it's sort of, it's for me, it's what makes the big difference. I think the technical background, it's important, but what really makes a difference is wanting to know these people, wanting to be involved, and instead of being a team or work, it becomes a bit part of a family.
Good. Okay. Perhaps a question to San. Credit Suisse is committed to supporting and developing future leaders with entrepreneurial mindsets. Can you tell us about the training that investment banking interns receive prior to joining, and also once they join the teams? And then could you also tell us about how you think the bank works to encourage entrepreneurial drive?
Definitely. So, funny enough, actually, when I did my master at London School of Economics, I led a division of the Entrepreneur Society. So we used to organize a weekly event to invite founders from different companies to come and talk to the students. What I can definitely say about the similarities that I see that Credit Suisse is training the incoming analysts and new joiners, and what the entrepreneurs have or practice or trying to develop is, I think, number one, having the way to really bridge the needs for people and trying to solve a problem. So, for example, when we did the internship training, I remember we had various, team projects that really encouraged people to think outside of the box. And there was also a philanthropy, I think, competition that we had to each team propose an event for Credit Suisse annual, charity event. So there were ideas, amazing ideas, like little gadget that you can put behind your phone that got put on sale or used for marketing, I think. And then there was some ideas about, how to use the food to save the food waste and things like that. So I think it really targeted to train your mind to help people to solve actual problems that people identified. I think that's the key similarities I think I see from us to the entrepreneurs, and also what the bank has right now and what I see just from the day-to-day job is, for example, for leverage finance as a product, I think we won consecutively at least 2 or 3 years for the most innovative bank for leverage finance. And we do actually come up with different ideas and new products all the time. If you think about leverage finance as a very standardized product, it is really not. We have, I think, came up with this new product called receivable financing notes that nobody has seen before, nobody understood, but we managed to structure that for Virgin Media this year. And a lot of companies saw that and saw, oh, this is great. Why nobody has come up to us with this before? So we really do, try to bridge the gap of client needs and, use our knowledge to help them to get there. I think, I don't think entrepreneurship itself is just referring to people having to start their own company. It can be, just developing a new product in each field.
Thank you. Another question here from Daniel. To all members, what's your experience been with receiving knowledge from senior members of the firm, and is there a mentor culture?
I would say it's massive. I'd say the fact that in the team I work, it's the seniority doesn't matter. The way we cover clients is exactly the same. Our day-to-day is exactly the same. So what I do to what my boss, who's been a managing director for 20 years and has been with Credit Suisse for 32, varies zero. I get to travel as much as him. I get to speak to my clients as much as him. My day-to-day job is very similar. Like, I've just come back from Tel Aviv seeing clients for a week. It's something that what I've seen, it's you get the responsibility you ask for. If you keep pushing, you're gonna get more and more, and that's why the senior management are seen as your peers, are seen as your colleagues. They don't try and differentiate themselves from you, because they want you to act like them, they want you to perform like them, and that's the sort of way it works in sales and trading, and that's one of the reasons why I love working there, because me being an analyst or someone being an MD, I have the exact same conversations on a day-to-day basis, and we're valued and compared exactly the same way.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Yeah, so if you come on a TA scheme, when you first join in, you receive an email with your mentor straight away. So you're given a buddy and your mentor as soon as you start. And your mentor is not someone from your team, it's someone from a different team altogether. So again, you experience a different culture when you speak to them. You know about another team. And at any point, if you want to change your mentor, if you want to know more people, just reach out to the right people and ask them, can you be my mentor? And they're more than happy to be a mentor. So it's just reaching out to them and asking the right questions.
Okay. We actually have another video that we'd like to play you just to give an IBCM perspective. So over to Megan.
I chose to do my internship at Credit Suisse following the campus events at my university, and they were very enthusiastic, which made me want to investigate the online process, which was very straightforward in comparison to the other banks. I would describe the culture at Credit Suisse as exceptionally welcoming. There's a lot of sense of camaraderie and friendship, and people don't treat themselves as colleagues but as friends. There's a lot of teamwork, and everyone focuses on you doing well together, and there's a sense of success all around. I've been fortunate enough to attend client meetings and client calls. We've done research for potential pitches. There's been lots of networking opportunities, especially with senior bankers, and in particular there was a women's afternoon tea organised whereby 3 juniors met with 1 senior for an hour and discussed everything and anything. The highlight of my internship has definitely been getting to know the people and joining the team. It's quite a family, and you feel very, very welcome. We had our summer party whereby the seniors joined with the juniors, and there was no hierarchy whatsoever, and everyone just had a good time, networked, and it was a nice time to get out of the office. In terms of the skills I've learned, decision making is crucial. Being efficient and preparing work of good quality is exceptionally important, and asking questions will definitely bring forward in the future.
Okay, so an IBCM intern perspective there as well. So some more questions coming through. Can you, all of you have talked about networking, but surely moments of tension can happen within the team. What would be your advice to best overcome? So anyone that's perhaps maybe struggled with it previously, and what would you say are the sort of best ways to help develop that skill?
I would say whenever you go to a networking event, don't go with a mindset that you have to network. You have to make sure you talk to the directors. Just go with a mindset that you want to meet these people, you want to learn from them, you want to know what they're doing. So a lot of times, a lot of people think that they have to get their name out there. They have to make sure that all of these directors know their name by the end of this event. That's not exactly how it works. You just have to sort of ask the right questions. Maybe prepare beforehand. Helps a lot. So prepare the questions that you want to ask. Do a bit of research about the people you're meeting. So that will again sort of bring some conversations between you guys. You'll have some questions to ask. So yeah, definitely don't go with a mindset that you have to network.
I would also emphasize that you don't really have to go just to the MDs and directors. The people I've learned the most from, in a way, it's people that have just gone through my experience very recently, and And that's the way I took it, and I took their advice, and it was more helpful in a way than getting the full overview from an MD. That's obviously very helpful, and it's great to meet them, but to the day-to-day and the things that you have to do to get to where these people are, it's a lot more relatable to speak to the analysts, the associates, the people that have just gone through what you're going through and know exactly how these things work. And then if you get along with these people, then it gives you a huge advantage, because at the end of the day, you're not being reviewed just by the MDs and directors, but you've been reviewed by the team as a whole. So my say will be the same say as an MD, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Great.
And I mean, having been on both, sides of, in a way, of the situation, I mean, I think it's important as a student to join, networking events, with a genuine curiosity, and try to meet the people. Maybe, prepare a few questions in advance and really, get the best out of it. It's not about, having that business card of, a certain representative. It's about, actually understanding what these people do and trying also, thanks to the conversation, to figure out whether it's something that perhaps is suitable, for you or not.
Okay. Another question that's come in: did you have any previous experience in banking before joining Credit Suisse?
I didn't. As I said, I did. I mean, I applied to the Spring Week program as a first year while doing my undergrad at Bocconi. And I mean, I was lucky enough to be, one of the participants of the program, like Miguel, and again, everything was very natural. I didn't, at the time, like looking back at myself, I definitely didn't have all the technical skills, to ultimately, succeed on the workplace. But it was a very step-by-step process.
Okay. A question from Vanilla. I've heard that Credit Suisse has a great policy where analysts are progressed to associates in a few years. Could you please talk about the career advancement at Credit Suisse? So maybe someone from investment banking to take this one.
I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, okay.
So, yes, there is a new, effectively, program in place for, full-time joiners that, selectively you can be fast-tracked to an associate position. Usually it takes 3 years to become an associate. But if you're fast-tracked, it will fast-track to associate. It will take you 2 years.
Okay.
And yeah, after that, there are also after that level, there are further opportunities as well.
It's similar in sales and trading, but I would say because the program's a little different to IBD in sales and trading, it's 2.5 years. So now it's when I would hopefully get promoted. And then it could take either 2 or 3 years, depending on your performance, the revenue generation, etc.
Okay, thank you. Question from Matthew: how does Credit Suisse's strong wealth management foundation follow through to other divisions?
So for us, it's very useful. I work in FX sales. There's a lot of private clients that need to do their FXs. The connectivity that I have with the Zurich team is huge. I speak to the RMs over in Zurich a lot. In my recent trip that I spoke about in Israel, the amount of connectivity that I had with clients was very limited. I had covered 2 or 3 very big clients for me. But speaking to these RMs and speaking to the wealth managers, they actually got me in contact with a lot of clients where I've just generated a lot more business out of. So it makes a big difference into making a trip or making an area or a country from being successful to being extremely successful and having a bigger footprint out there.
Okay.
Having a big PB platform for us is a big plus as well.
Yes.
Sometimes there are specific clients' needs that's not, for some instruments that are not widely syndicated. Some people do look for, private banking support for such distributions. And we did manage to do quite a few deals last year for clients with such needs, and they're very happy about Credit Suisse platform.
Okay. A question from Adalberto. Hello, Vivio. Could you please tell us how is a typical day in your industry coverage team, and what's the part of your job that you enjoy the most?
Okay, so the reality is that there is no typical day. Usually, if I were to try to describe a typical day, I'd probably say that you're at your desk by 9:30, and after that anything can happen, in the sense that you'll be in practical terms, we'll spend most of our days either on client calls or working on Excel models or presentations, depending on if we're doing a project or a particular deal, and so on. Obviously, travel is also an important aspect of the job, and the part that I enjoy the most is the client interaction. Having the opportunity, for example, to prepare a financial model on an IPO or an M&A transaction, and having the opportunity, thanks to the CS platform, to go to the client with the rest of your team and be the one explaining, how it works. Explaining the mechanics, all the aspects to it is certainly a major plus in my view for the job, because it's not just about sitting at your desk and producing a particular type of analysis, but it's also about ultimately presenting it and creating that connection that ultimately allows you to do well, and enjoy your job.
And so I guess at an intern level, it's also there's also the opportunity to sort of get more of the wider picture, so you get to sort of work with different teams and sort of see how it all fits together.
Exactly. In my experience as an intern, I remember I was really impressed when you join these institutions, not really knowing what to expect. Mm-hmm. And effectively as an intern, you're treated as a full-time analyst. There are situations where you get to join meetings. For example, in my team this year, we had a few interns and quite a few of them attended client meetings, having prepared the pitch book or the particular materials needed to discuss. So it is really a great environment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. A really good question here from Jihao. Good evening. Will it be, or is it sometimes frustrating or difficult for the first few months in terms of transitioning from university study into practical working? And how do you overcome these setbacks?
Maybe I can give it a go. Yeah. I think one of the main things that I found quite challenging is when you're in university, your piece of work is your own job. And now your piece of work actually affects everyone, from your colleagues to the clients to the investors. One little single mistake is not, a difference from 99 to 100, but it's almost binary. So for me, the key challenge, or trying to bring myself from. Similar to the question, what brings a good analyst to a great analyst, is really how do I take full responsibility of my job and make sure each bit actually counts to the good results. So I think one thing that I would recommend is really something. You have to set the mindset also you're not alone. There's always precedents that you can follow. There's always people who went through the exact same thing, made the exact same mistakes before, who can give you the advice how to not have that mistake again, and how to, progress from level 1 to level 2. I think that's what I learned the most and from university.
I think That's when the TA scheme or the grad scheme really helps, because you've got other TAs that you already know before coming into bank. You've got a network of people you already know, and of course you're all in the same boat. So if you're going through any troubles, or if you're finding it hard to adjust with this sort of 9 to half 5 cycle, then just speak to them. You have people and they're like, yeah, we're struggling as well, but like we're all together, and with time it all gets better. So it's good to be on a grad scheme in that way.
Yeah, good. Okay. I think there was a question that came in about digitalisation. See if we can scroll back up. I think it was, oh yeah, here we go, from Philip. How do you see the future of investment banking regarding digitalisation? And would you still recommend pursuing a career? So I guess, you know, technology marrying up with investment banking. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, sure. So we had a lot of workshops that we normally go to, being in IT. So, you know, we've got a special division, which is the research division, which is researching into the new technologies which is coming in, not just digitalization, but also the Bitcoin technology. So we've got a special division just focusing on it. So we leverage a lot with the investment banking from where we get the requirements. We're like, what would you like us to sort of focus on? And that's where the requirements come in. And that's where we get together and go through workshops, go through training courses, and just work as a team and try and develop the new technology out there.
Okay. Any other divisions where you see digitalisation or automation coming in to sort of help, you know, with efficiencies, etc.?
I mean, certainly I can say from the more, you know, advisory, you know, M&A perspective, I can say that, you know, since I joined and since I interned at CS, there have been certain processes which have been made much more, you know, efficient in a way. I think ultimately, probably, you know, my view is that obviously the digitalization will be important for us, but, you know, the advisory aspect of the job, you know, needs that bit of, you know, client interaction and, you know, ability to, you know, present maybe complex, you know, things in a very simple way. So, you know, I think it's still a very good time, you know, to join investment banking, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Definitely agree. It's a great time because all those improvement in digitalization, for example, I think it used to, if you have to compile, for example, a profile of a company, it used to have to dig each individual bits of the information from various sources. Now you can go on Bloomberg, there are profiles for companies, for private equities. It's definitely a very useful tool, and it opens up everyone's time to actually do the thinking, do the analysis behind it. So I think digitization is a plus. It's a great time to join because now you're equipped with better tools.
Okay.
And just to you know, add a little bit, I mean, ultimately, you know, advice is something that comes from experience. You know, it's very difficult for me, at least, to imagine a situation where, you know, a investment banking or M&A industry is, you know, fully, you know, digitalized. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, when you're the CEO of, you know, a FTSE 100 company, ultimately you want to have, you know, the advice of someone that, you know, in a way has seen, you know, various economic scenarios and so on and so forth. You just don't want to be in the situation where you ask, you know, a computer a question and you get an answer. Absolutely. Also because there are infinite ways to, you know, create new scenarios in the analysis that we do and so on. So, you know, you need someone experienced.
So using technology to support but not take over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at my job, there's a lot of digitalization is very important because a lot of the execution is now done through e-platforms, through algo trading, but you need that one person there. You need someone to speak to. You need someone to advise. Yes, there's a lot of research, etc., on the background, but that day-to-day, that contact, the fact that you have someone that's going to sort out any issues. I have a lot of clients that the majority of their trading it goes through electronic. That doesn't mean that doesn't affect me. The fact that they're trading electronically with us, it's what makes the difference. I go out there and I sell myself as well as Credit Suisse, as well as our electronic platform, our algo platform. It's all a one-stop shop for these guys. So it's very important. Digitalization is very important for our role. Is it taking over our jobs? Not really. And is it a good time to start? I would say so, because since the financial crisis, a lot of firms have gone through a lot of restructuring, and here at CS I've seen it personally, and that's only brought opportunities to people, young people, new like us, where we've come in, we want to push, and they let us. They want us to come in and do the job that you might, a few years back, you might have been doing in 10 years. But you're there speaking to the CEOs and the chief financial officers of firms where you would not have that access if you were somewhere where there's a big hierarchical community.
Absolutely. We've got lots and lots of questions that have come through. Thank you so much for sending them. Another question to you, Miguel. How does CS differentiate itself from its competitors in sales and trading? I've heard that equity derivatives and AES were among some of CS's key strengths. So
I have to agree with that. Our algo platform is very strong. Our derivatives trading is extremely strong. Then it's all about the people. I would say there is products that we're better at than others. Like in my case, we're extremely good in Swiss. That's where we come from. That's our community, and we gotta be strong at that. There's always key selling points within different worlds. We might not have the biggest FX team that there is out there, but in terms of what we offer and what our strengths are, there's always a very strong selling point out there. But the main thing I would say is the people. The people make the biggest difference, and that's what I've seen. You can do the job of 10 people with 3 people if you have the right people. And that's the fact that you're lean and the fact that you support each other and you're there with each client and you know each client personally, and people go out their ways to make these clients happy. I think that's what really differentiates me, us, or Credit Suisse in sales and trading as a whole.
Okay. So, a final question from my side, if I may, to each of you. Given the respective roles that you play, what would be the one piece of advice that you'd give to students as they look to start their careers? So maybe if we start with you, Sam.
I would say be yourself and be a sponge. When you come as an intern, just come suck in as much knowledge as you can and start fresh, and don't expect people to, no one will expect you to know, how to do things properly, but just come and learn from the beginning.
Okay, all right. So having the right attitude and being able to then sort of make sure that you integrate well into the team. And okay, good. Vivio?
I would probably say the advice I'd give is, to try, in the sense that, you'll never know if, something is, the right job, for you unless you try. So, that's probably the best advice that I can give. So, apply to the internship program, see it for yourself, and then take it from there. And then the second probably piece of advice that I would add is, try to, meet as many people as possible at networking events, or even, when joining as a summer intern, and, really learn what their ambitions are, what drives them on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, thank you.
I have to second that. Network. I don't know how to emphasize it anymore. That was the one thing that made the biggest difference in my case. And I think for our job and in sales and trading, it's a lot about people. It's a lot about knowing how to sell, knowing how to speak, and networking is so essential, and finding out what you really want to do, because each team is so different and there's so many specifics that there's nothing you can learn beforehand to coming into the role and being the best from day one. It doesn't work like that. It's all about going out there, meeting these people, knowing what they want from you, knowing their personalities, getting to know them, and sort of find the people you connect with, try and match that, have a sort of a plan to achieve something. It's having those goals to try and get there, but these people will help you get there. So for me, network.
Okay.
Any events that you have at your university, go to they make a really big difference. Get to know the HR. It's super important, I have to say. And yeah, as much network as you can do.
And also to add to that, I mean, obviously we offer a host of online events as well. So if it's the case that we aren't hosting a physical event on campus at your university, then, you know, joining our digital, our online webinars is also a great way. Joining sessions like this evening as well, you know, really sort of getting to learn about the firm, learning about our people is also a great way to connect with us as well. And last but not least, Himani?
Sure. I would say come with an open mindset. Don't think that if you've done engineering or if you've done something else, you can't get into banking. Just be ready to learn and be proactive. It's quite easy to get used to this 9-to-5 life cycle, but that's not what will differentiate you from others. You have to be out there, make yourself known to others, grab the opportunities which are out there. There's so many events which you can get involved in. You have to make yourself go to those events and meet the right people. So be proactive. That's the first thing, yeah. If you want to do something, you will do it then.
Great, thank you. Well, I mean, we've been overwhelmed by questions today, so thank you so much for everyone that's submitted questions. We'll try and come back to you in the coming days if we haven't had the opportunity to answer your questions this evening. But I'd like to say a big thank you to our panel. You've all been great, some great advice there, and hopefully advice that you guys will take away and will help you you know, as you sort of prepare for applications and interviews with us. Just a reminder that applications are open. Please do apply as soon as possible as we recruit on a rolling basis. We hope to see you again shortly. Thank you very much.